Illinois Stories is brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by the support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to Illinois Stories. I'm Mark McDonald on East Jefferson Street in Camp Point, Illinois, at the Community for Christ Assistance Center. This place was hatched by an idea in Golden, Illinois about 15 years ago. And it's had a number of generations, but now, as you can see, it's a thriving assistance center in Camp Point that helps hundreds of people every month and is supported by 25 churches. Well, Pat Heineke, 15 years is a good long time to measure your effectiveness. If you haven't learned how to do what you do in 15 years, you're probably not going to be very good at it, right?
That's right.
But you all have been pretty good at it, because
Yes, we
what
have.
you've been able to do is you've been able to find a location here that's big enough for your needs, full of, looks like high quality merchandise, attached to a food pantry, and with hundreds of volunteers that come in here and help you make it work.
That's right.
That's quite an accomplishment.
It is. When you consider, I was talking with another board member this morning that we started where they did 15 families a month, and now we do 150 families a month.
You mean
Our
you
food-
help
yeah.
that many families? Really?
With our
Really?
food pantry.
Yeah, in the food pantry. That's just the food pantry.
That's just the
My
food pantry.
goodness. Well, what we're looking at here is the retail side
Right,
of it, right?
right.
Now, is everything that I see in here, and this is a good many hundreds of square feet, is everything I see in here been donated?
Yes, everything in here has been donated by churches, people who have garage sales, you know, just
People that just drop
people.
off? They
Yes.
just come in and drop off?
Drop off.
Okay. And these are all volunteers that are working
Right.
here?
These are our volunteers today.
And you're open, what, 3 days a week?
We're open 3 days a week. Tuesdays and Saturdays we're open from 9 to 2, and on Thursdays we're open from noon to 6.
And your volunteers do almost everything. They
Yes.
do the retail side here, they do the sorting,
Right.
they run the pantry.
They vacuum floors.
You're a staff member, and there's another staff
Right,
member,
we have
but
an
other than that,
assistant.
everybody is
Volunteer.
That's remarkable. Let's walk through here a little bit.
We have 18 churches that help us.
So they either by helping you with cash or by helping you with manpower or donations of some kind. no?
Right. 18 churches send volunteers, and then we have 25 that send funds. So some of those 25 are the same 18.
And then, of course, you have grants.
Right.
You write
We
grants
do a great deal of grants. Our assistant director writes all of our grants, and we about $40,000 a year is grants.
That's terrific. That's terrific. What percentage of your income comes from this retail side?
About a third.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, considering that our highest price item is $2.50
Is that-
typically.
No, is that right?
Yes.
No
yeah.
kidding. You can come in here and get a good piece of clothing for $2.
Oh yeah. Well, like if you look around, girls $1.50.
Well, let's go over there. Let's just go over
Just, you know,
there. Okay.
Right now we have prom
everything
dresses
here.
that are
Everything
good.
here is $1.50.
everything here is $1.50.
Okay. And your sorters go through it all, and they make sure that it's all in good. It's all
Good quality
condition.
condition. We watch real closely, you know, like T-shirts, what they say, stains.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know, and then we'll take some of them that are still in pretty decent condition. The crossing will come and get them. If you know anything about the crossing.
No,
in
I don't.
Quincy.
Tell me what the crossing is.
Okay, the crossing is just from the church, and they have another thrift store and things like that.
I see. Okay.
And then sometimes they take them and they'll use them, or they'll send them on to
Yeah.
missions and things like
Yeah.
that we don't want to use.
Yeah.
Because we are a very faith-based organization.
Sure.
So
Sure. Now, what I find interesting is that you have a lot of variety here. You can go everywhere from housewares to a baseball glove.
Yep.
Get your cleats here if you want to.
Yep.
You might even have a kitchen appliance or two.
That's right. Yes.
Whatever you think that somebody could
Right.
walk out of here and want to pay anything for.
Right.
You can, if you have room for it, you can deal with it.
Well, and that's the thing of it. You know, where we feel that God has been so good to the people in this community with giving us a lot of things. We feel that if somebody has, you know, like you can see right there on the window, we have back in the back, we have a clothes dryer, dishwasher. You know, we don't have a lot of appliances typically.
Yeah.
But
if you get one that's in good working condition, why not have somebody use it and you can make a few bucks on it. The money that is generated through this operation stays right in this operation to help more people.
Absolutely.
How many people would you say in a year that you assist? Is there a way to
as far as the food pantry or as far as the assistance program?
Let's start with the assistance program, because people may not know that that's what you do, but people can come down and you can interview them, and if they're truly in need, you can help them in some way, can't you?
We have, last year we probably did, I think it was around 95 people with rent or mortgage assistance.
Is that right?
Now you divide that by 12, you see how many people. And then we have electricity assistance. I think we did about 75. And then we also do water.
All the utility, anything that helps a person stay in their home.
Stay in their home.
Yeah.
That is our main concern. You know, especially with the rent. When I talk with the landlord, I always make sure, okay, now this is going to keep them in that home for another 30 days.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, then
well, it's so important. It's the most important thing.
That's right.
If you don't, you have to have food in the home.
That's right.
And you try to provide both of those. And speaking of food, let's go back to the food pantry, because it adjoins this building right here, doesn't it?
Right.
And of course, these are all volunteers, and they're all chatting each other up. But this is a very, very impressive facility.
Well, we think it is.
And
this is our food pantry.
Is this a normal, the way it normally looks? Is this stocked full, or is
this is pretty stocked full right now.
Good.
Just by chance. Again, we have volunteers in here every day that we're open. Our food is primarily, we try and make sure that it's good quality and very basic food. It's nothing fancy. It's not a lot of preservatives or anything. We try and do fresh produce as much as we can.
Yeah, that's hard though, isn't it?
It is very hard.
It goes off quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be picked up right away, or then you're stuck with it.
Right. And like last week, we had the Mississippi Valley Holstein Club
is that
donated, I think it was like 60 some odd gallons of milk.
That's wonderful.
And 60 some odd cartons of cottage cheese. We have different organizations, Lions Club, if they have a pancake sausage day and they have extra sausage, they have extra pancake mix.
Hey, bring it in here.
They donate it to us.
Can we look in the freezer here?
Sure.
Let's take a look in there and see what, wow, okay. Lots of ground beef.
Yep, a lot of ground beef. The chicken and the turkey from the bottom is from the Central Illinois Food Basket, their food bank program.
So and that's out of Springfield, right?
Right.
And they deliver over here?
Yes.
Can I look in here too?
Go right ahead.
Okay.
We also have at least one 4-H club who does what they call a meeting the need. And they raised, like last year, they took in monies and food, about 1,100 pounds of hamburger for us. Just a couple of weeks ago, our Central High School Student Council and FFA did a food drive and gave us, I think it was over $600 and about 600 food items.
Yeah.
So we just have all sorts of different people, and that's what makes this place work.
Right.
Is the variety. You know, we have no one denomination. We have probably 8 different denominations of
churches. Is that right? How many churches did you say support it?
We have 25
churches support it. And of course, like you said, that's across the board denominations.
It's across the board.
They're all Christian churches, I assume.
Christian churches, yes. We have Assembly of God, Christian Church, Lutheran, Catholic, Federated.
It's wonderful.
Anything, you know,
it's wonderful.
really.
We're going to learn more about the history of this place as this program goes on. But this is not the first place that you've had.
No.
This is actually the third location.
Place. Right.
And we'll learn more about that as we go. But thanks for the tour. We sure appreciate it.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
Pastor Trut, when you were one of the starters, I guess one of the founders of this mission, and 15 years ago, and you were at the time in Golden, Illinois, huh?
Yes, I was pastor at Trinity Lutheran in Golden, which is about 8 miles down the road from here.
Adams County.
Yes. Yeah.
Why did you think there was a need for this?
Well, several reasons. My wife and I had moved here from the Lake of the Ozarks a couple of years before the center began, and I had helped there also to start a center that was similar to this. And when I came to Trinity, in the basement of the church, in one of the classrooms, there was a food pantry. And I noticed that the same people were coming, and just a few people were coming for food and other items to our pantry. And I thought to myself, we can do better than this. So using the model, or thinking the model that we had at the Lake of the Ozarks with that center, I thought, let's see if we can do something like that here. So I started talking it up among people in the community that I knew. I had been here already a couple of years, and there was an interest in it. So I called the director of the center at the Lake of the Ozarks, and I asked her if she would be willing to come here and present what she was doing there. And she said, sure. So we set up a meeting at the community center in Golden, and about 25-30 people came. And I said, that's great, that's it. There's enough interest in the community, let's go with it. And so she was willing to help get it organized, get whatever was needed to begin. We had to become a not-for-profit corporation. We had to set up a board of directors, get bylaws, guidelines, a constitution, and all that. So yeah, that's where we started.
I asked you to come out here behind the center here so we could see. We're not going to see it, most people don't even see it from back here, but to show how much it's grown, because this is your third location.
This is the third location.
And in fact, it wasn't big enough because you had to build these storage areas on for when people bring in their donations. You don't have room inside to sort and take care of it all at one time.
Right, right. And yeah, and plus, you know, if you drop stuff off here, it would rain on it, and that happened when we first opened this particular building. People would drop stuff off, and by the time the volunteers got to sorting, it got wet.
Yeah, and I mean, they work hard, but they can't work all the time. I mean, it's got to sit somewhere, right?
Right.
And this is a good example. These are things that were recently dropped off here, and you can keep them dry and out of the rain and wind and dust and everything, and it all remains in pretty good shape until you can get to it.
Right.
And then it comes, and the next thing what happens here, it goes into a storage or into a sorting area. And they're busy, busy, busy in here, aren't they? I'm going to close this door.
Yeah, our busy volunteers, the busy bees. Yeah.
Any idea how many volunteers there are, Pastor?
Oh, you need to ask Pat that,
okay,
our director.
We'll find that out.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, this is the third location. You were involved in getting the first location, which was on Main Street right across the tracks here in Camp Point. Another second location in Camp Point.
Right, on 24, just about 3 blocks from here.
And then, shortly after y'all moved in there, this became available.
Yes.
And this is really fits you well because it's finally big enough. Huh?
Yes, yes it is, And it's always a busy place,
It sure is. It sure is. And it's wonderful work everybody's doing. And thank you for getting involved at the beginning. It's always harder to get something started than it is to keep something going, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Well, it's going because of all the volunteers and their willingness to help out and the community support, which was absolutely fantastic from day one.
Thank you, sir. Well, Pat, this mission is a wonderful thing for hundreds of people. You're one of the hundreds of people who found herself in a situation of need recently. And how did they help you here?
They were wonderful. Besides being very compassionate to help, we found our situation with utilities and some help with food. And it's a hard thing to do sometimes to find
ask for help
there. And being able to sit down and talk with them, and they do the best they can to help you in every way. And it was a big relief. I was honestly very nervous. I thought, what do I say, you know? And I spoke with several people that have been helped and how appreciative of everyone that they are able to do this.
Your situation was really very difficult for you too, because it was health related as well as not only being pinched economically, but part of the reason was because your health went south on you. You were a warehouse man who drove a forklift, right?
Yes, I did.
And probably around the time that you'd been doing that for 20 years or so, your body started to tell your body, hey, take it easy on me, huh?
Oh, yes.
What happened?
Well, when you're driving a forklift, you know, it can jar you and things like that. And then lifting 50-pound bags. I thought, I can do this, but, you know, it took its toll. And little by little, each doctor explained to me how this, you know, is the way it is. And we just take the best we can with it. And
And you couldn't do that kind of work anymore. So you had not only the doctor bills, but you couldn't do the work, and so that all added up to you getting behind in your bills and needing help with your utilities and getting
medications are pretty expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was just, it was such a relief because we were certain the utilities would no longer be on. We came in, we sat down and spoke with Pat, my husband as well, and the relief is unreal. To know, well, this is taken care of, we can take a step further. Yeah,
and things have brightened up for you, haven't they?
They have, they certainly have. And my husband and I have both made a decision anyway that we might be able to help back is what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's terrific.
You know, I just can't, you know, besides the cleanliness here and the people's attitudes, I can't imagine anyone that needs something would not come in here and be able to be helped.
Yeah. Thank you, Pat.
So, well, thank you.
Juanita, you came here to these fine folks because you found yourself, you had worked at Quincy University for a long, long time. Your disability got worse and worse, and your back and neck got more and more painful to the point where you just couldn't do it anymore?
No, couldn't. Loved the place, loved the university and all the people. Great people to work for.
Yeah.
But, you know, your body tells you one thing, you know, you try to overcome a lot of things in your head and you go, can I still do stuff? And no.
Yeah.
Body just kind of just got to the point where it was so painful I had to quit.
Yeah. And it was pain in your neck and your
my
back.
Lower back. Yeah. I have stenosis and a lot of housekeeping bending, making beds for Curseal, which is hundreds of beds, and you have to make them every week, and you have to clean. I was in charge of a part in there where it was like dorms, so I got to know students, and did those for 10 years, and then they put me out North Campus where they have Curseals, and you have the professors, and you have the science teachers, and you know, everybody, you know, I had to clean all the classrooms and the science labs and stuff like that.
Make all the beds and make sure everything's...
Well, there's different departments. You have the schooling part, you have the Neiman department, which is where they have the balls and all the fancy, you know, cotilles and stuff, and it's the Neimans, and they've redone it. And then you have the Curseals, where you make all the beds. And there's, I think, 3 levels to that, and usually 2 levels is what you do, and then you have to do offices, and you have to do the television casting department, and you have to do the locker rooms and the soccer rooms and all that. So it's a lot of physical work.
A lot of physical work that you just found you could not do anymore. So what happens is you have to retire, so your income goes down, but your medical bills go up, right?
Right.
And is that what happened to you?
Yeah, and we were trying to get, you know, the Obama, and it got to the point where I couldn't afford it either.
Yeah. And so you came here. Did they help you with actual cash assistance for your utilities and things?
Yeah, they helped me with, like I had a $300 and some electric bill. And,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, and heating an old house, you know, and you know, needed to just break myself down and come here and just,
Well, and it's hard,
get
isn't it,
some help.
too, asking for help, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
What was it like that first time that you came in here?
Well, my husband doesn't always want to do it. He won't do it, but I do it because I humble myself and just come
Do you
here.
still use the food pantry?
Yes, I do.
Yeah?
Every month.
It helps out, huh?
A great deal, because I have a chronic son at home with Crohn's disease, and he works up at the Casey department. He can only work part-time, and I have to take care of him.
Yeah. I noticed you do a little shopping here, too.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, I try to get things I need, but I like to get recipe books, and my husband loves to read, so yeah, I love it a lot.
Yeah, so you support it in that way, too, huh?
Oh, these people are wonderful, and you get to see your regular friends and neighbors and stuff. They work up here, and my husband and my sons would help out and work in the back, too.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, so it was just something they like to do, and I like to shop and visit with people. It just seems to be like a place to always come here, and it's the main place that I come. I don't do a lot of shopping and stuff, and my husband does it for me. He goes, he still works, and he comes home and brings all the food we need, because I give him a shopping list every day or something. I just can't do a great deal of walking anymore. If I'm up here, I get a little bit of exercise. It's nice just to be able to come back here and sit and, and see people, and then, if I need help or whatever, I'll just, go back and ask Pat for help.
Well, thank you, Juanita.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Kenny, you've been involved in this project from the beginning, and you've seen all three facilities, and all three were in Camp Point. One was right across the street on Main Street here. It was a very small, right? And then you all grew, and you were able to get a facility out on Highway 24, also in Camp Point, which was a lot bigger.
Correct.
And then, like sort of by a miracle, and you're familiar with this because you knew the family that owned this men's clothing store, it just became available, just when you needed it, right?
Right. He was selling out, and I come in here to buy something, and he said, you reckon the center would be interested in this? I said, well, I don't know if we'd come up with the money, but yeah, we'd be interested. And Dorothy Obert was over there at that other place, and I went over there and told her about it. Oh boy. And we had part of the money. They wanted $80,000.
Oh boy.
And in 4 months' time, it was paid for.
How did you do that?
Donations. And,
Well, you just, an army of you went out and just asked people for money and they gave it to you? I mean, you were just able to raise it in that quick a time?
Yes.
Remarkable.
It is. God wants this.
That's
the only thing you can say.
I guess so. Yeah. And it's been successful financially too, even though the whole mission is to help people and to actually give things away. You've been able to stay in the black, haven't you?
Correct. When we started out, they elected me treasurer, and I had an ad machine in the book, and had $47. And last year, our total income was $170,000.
Wow!
At $2 and $1.50, and
yeah, $2 a shirt. And, yeah, $1.50 for a little girl's blouse. Yeah, that's amazing. Of course, you also have good folks supporting you as well, don't
Correct.
you? It's not just the retail.
There's donations, and then community foundation. We're part of that, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, you have some pretty big outfits behind you too, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the Tracy Foundation
Yes.
was mentioned, and some others. So I mean that all really helps. But it's just remarkable, I think, that you went from, in such a short period of time. 15 years is not a long time. It can go pretty quick, doesn't it?
Right. It's just amazing. That's about all I can say about it.
Yeah. You had shared a story with me the other day about a young lady that was in here, and she was getting married, and she found the dress that she had dreamed about.
Yes, and well, it was $25, but she didn't have the money. So she went back and talked to the director and wanted to know if they'd keep it for her. And there was two ladies heard that up here, and they paid for it.
Just laid out
Yeah.
the 25 bucks. Huh?
Didn't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And then one day, there was a lady in here, it was around Christmas time, buying like clothes for a teenager. And she would take them out of the basket, you know, and hold them up there and say how much they was. She was adding this up in her head. And about a 30-year-old lady come from the back of the store and says, don't let her pay for it. And we told her that it was already paid for. And, oh my goodness. And when the gal went to check out and pay for it, the young lady, I said, did you know her? No, not related or anything. They just do that.
Yeah, yeah. That makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, a lot of what you do here makes you all feel good.
Yes.
There are dozens and dozens of volunteers and everybody just sort of working together to be a bright light, right?
Right. There's only, well, 2 people that's employed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Kenny, thank you for sharing this with us. It's been a good experience. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. You may not expect to see an operation like this in a small town like Camp Point. This is now, they're starting their 16th year, and with the backing of 25 churches and the foundations and, of course, the public, it looks like the start of the good next 15 years. With another Illinois story in Camp Point, I'm Mark McDonald. Thanks for watching.
Illinois Stories is brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, Illinois Arts Council Agency, and by the support of viewers like you. Thank you. For a DVD copy of the program you've just seen, send 1995 to P.O. Box 6248, Springfield, Illinois 62708. Be sure to include the program name, subject, and when the program aired. You can also order with your credit card by calling 800-232-3605.